Let's start at the top with the most important news of the day, and that is Nick Sirianni saying before practice that Tyler Steen is going to be out for a little bit. Didn't give a specific timetable. He is dealing with an ankle injury, and we talked about this a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago or so, that I made the case that Howie Roseman, in his heart of hearts, was probably kind of hoping that at some point Tyler Steen might suffer a minor injury, because then
you and Howie are kindred spirits.
Because then you get a chance to see Mekhi Becton at right guard, and there's no drama to it, right? Tyler Steen has not been demoted.
Exactly.
If Mekhi Becton looks great, it's a very easy, listen, we still believe in Tyler Steen long term. He's going to be an important part of this team, but we don't want to mess with things right now. Mekhi Becton looks good. We're feeling good. And if Mekhi Becton doesn't look good, and then it's a very easy, he got that little tryout with, no harm, no foul. Tyler Steen is back and ready to compete at right guard. And it was very interesting today because there was no Lane Johnson suffering a toe injury day-to-day, not a big deal. But that meant that there was the starting right tackle spot open as well, which is where Mekhi Becton has been the times that Lane Johnson has been absent. And he wasn't at right tackle. He was at right guard, because now we are moving forward, I believe, with Mekhi Becton is getting this shot, and he has a chance right now to win and earn the job for the rest of the season if all things go well for him.
Well said. To build upon that, Tyler Steen goes down in Saturday's practice, right? When Steen goes down, Daren Canard goes in at right guard. And I know there was some curiosity from some others about why Canard went in and not Becton.
I was screaming at my Twitter feed. What are these reporters have covered training camp before? What are we doing, guys?
Exactly. So the reason
girls.
being there is that it was a tackle day for Becton, right? Becton was playing tackle that day.
Right.
So the way you framed it about today is much better, in that Lane Johnson was missing today. This wasn't an injury that occurred during practice. You knew going in, first team right tackle, first team right guard was open. The Eagles had a deliberate choice to make. By putting Mekhi Becton at right guard, I don't think you can read too much into that at all. I think that is an indication of what we've been discussing since we saw Becton at guard. The fact that Becton has played guard as much as he has during the summer, it's 4 practices now, but in those first 2 sessions shows you they're not just looking at him as the swing tackle. They want to see how he can do on the inside. For the reasons you mentioned with Steen, I don't think they wanted to make just a 1-for-1 swap yet. What does that do for Steen's confidence? What kind of message does that send, right? There's a reason why Becton was playing left guard, I believe, early on, right? They had that opening with Dickerson. You can put him there. You can evaluate him, but I don't think they wanted to do, at least early on, the Becton's playing right guard over Steen. Now
it's a very convenient order that things have happened here.
So now that Steen goes down, and by the way, this is I said this on Anthony's show this morning. This is a critical time for this to occur. Like you said, pads go on. They have practice. So they had practice today. They have practice tomorrow with pads. They have a walkthrough Wednesday, a practice Thursday night, and then a walkthrough presumably Friday and off day Saturday. So if you consider Steen's injury to be, a few days, then this is valuable time for Becton to show how he looks there. And the conversation that you just said theoretically could actually occur. That, man, there's something to see here. Jeff Stoutland said it in the spring when we asked about going one on, one off, that type of thing. He said he wants that 5-wheel drive unless there's something that happens that makes you think we really need to take a look at this. I think this might be the thing that happens that makes them really want to take a look at this.
He has also talked about the ideal body type he has for that guard is a big guy. Now, Mekhi Becton has not started at guard in the NFL. He has only been a tackle, right? In the past, he has even bristled at the idea of not being a left tackle, of course, a former first-round pick. We have talked about this for a while. The Eagles, throughout the draft process, bringing in first-round likely prospects along the offensive line. They were very much, if the board had fallen a certain way, willing to take somebody who could step in and start right away at right guard in the first or second round. The board did not work that way, and so right when the draft was over, they go out and sign Mekhi Becton.
Yeah,
right?
Sunday night. So literally the day after the draft.
To a significant contract, and incentive-laden, right, can make over $5 million. And so it was very clear that this was something that was on their mind. Tyler Steen, I'm sure that they like Tyler Steen, but they have never been reliant upon Tyler Steen. They have never thought, this is our guy for sure. for all the reasons we have talked about last year. They give Sua Opeta the spot over him. They don't even love Sua enough to re-sign him. So Tyler Steen, for whatever reason, has never gone and grabbed that job in their minds. And so now with Becton, it is an opportunity, and we will see how it goes. I'm sure they will, bring along Tyler Steen at a nice conservative pace and see how things go. But there's no guarantee that Mekhi Becton's gonna take this job and win it. He has been an up and down player throughout his career. I think there's probably a case to be made that maybe guard is going to be better for him because he doesn't have to move as much, right? But this is going to be interesting to follow, and it is convenient that it's now. Let's put the pads on and see how things go.
Yes, and I just want to add, this is not like a media creation in this sense, okay? When you sign Mekhi Becton, the context that you just laid out, this is a career tackle. This is someone who's never played guard. And so your first spring with the team, what do you do with him? You put him at guard. That goes to show you that if you did not believe throughout the draft process.
And not as if they were stacked at tackle, right?
Exactly.
You've got Fred Johnson, but that's it.
Yeah.
There's very much an opportunity to have a better swing tackle.
Yeah, so we said throughout the draft process how offensive line was the most likely position they would take in the first round. Well, 6 went in the first 21 picks, right? So if Troy Faltanu or someone like that slips, maybe even if Amarius Mims slips, it could be a different conversation at number 22. But they're looking at these top offensive linemen throughout the spring, okay? They don't take one early on. I didn't perceive that as a vote of confidence in Tyler Steen. And I said once they put Becton there, and we talked about this is a job that Becton could win. I still put Steen as the front runner because the fact that Steen was in there, I thought he would have the opportunity to earn it. And he still does have the opportunity to earn it. But I think seeing Becton in there, and Becton has natural talent. Brian Baldinger, who knows far more about offensive line play than me, maybe you and him are comparable.
Yeah,
but a Baldy who knows the Jets quite well, right? Spends time up there in Florham Park. He has said, I think his quote was that Becton could be the best run blocker on the team or something of that nature. I mean, the sheer size of him
is a big, strong, powerful man.
Hard to find. And you framed it well about his inconsistencies, but there has been high-level play. If you look at the high water mark, it does.
Well, his
stand
rookie
out.
year, he was good.
Yeah.
Last year, I think he was even still up and down, and there have been some injuries and conditioning stuff, but certainly the talent is there, and he's still only 25 years old, right? This is a chance for the Eagles to maybe find some hidden value. He has talked about he kind of wants to be here for a while.
He chose here,
right? If all things go well. Now, to be fair, the offensive line was not great today. They were also missing Lane Johnson, and I thought that Becton was overrun a few times. But this is a new opportunity. If we can just beat splain the Canard from Saturday, that you set the depth chart for the day's practice,
yes, exactly,
right? And so for that day, Daren Canard was the second team right guard, and he had done some work there. And so if something happens in the middle of practice, guys just bump up.
Exactly.
You're not moving things around. It's not a game.
Exactly.
Right?
Well said.
So when the Steen injury happens, they have an opportunity to then reset and say, okay, this is what we need to see. Steen's going to be out. It's also interesting that Matt Hennessy, who we talked about in the spring, spent all his time that we saw at right guard. He was working at center. Today, he was back as the second team right guard. Some of that is because Brett Toth was also back, but he wasn't even a full participant. So all of this is to say that the right guard competition is very much now open.
You are correct there. Although I do think Canard is someone who we should at least have on our radar as maybe pushing for.
And by the way, he was a tackle today. He was not at guard. He was the second team right tackle behind Fred Johnson. So
someone to have on our radar. But yeah, when it was happening the other day, I was saying they're not looking at Daren Canard as a right guard.
What are we
over
doing,
Becton.
people?
It was that Becton was a tackle that day. Had Becton been playing right guard, Becton would have just pumped. He would have bumped right up.
Now, if you had to go prisoner of the moment, put your turkeys right now, who's the starting right guard? Would you have the plurality on Becton, or would you have Steen at the top?
I will go 52-48. I'm making this like a presidential.
Wow, no field.
Oh, no field. No, I think Steen or Becton. And I said that
and
before.
For who?
Yeah.
For Becton or
I'm
Steen?
going Becton right now. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'd go 48 Becton, 42 Steen, 10 Hennessy.
I don't think it's going to be Hennessy, but
Well, I know
maybe-
you're big on your boy Max Sharping, who's like stuck on the third team. I don't know
maybe it's
that hot tip you got on Sharpie, but
No, maybe it's the Wisniewski thing where all right, you have this solid pro who could be the backup, or I'm sorry, who could step in. It's not apples for apples, so I don't want to say I've seen this movie before, but I think back to
I guess I should put one on Canard.
Okay, I think back to the 2021 training camp when there was truly a competition between Andre Dillard and Jordan Mailata, and then Dillard goes down in camp.
Yes.
And it was like, all right, we've seen what we need to see.
But that one was also a little bit different
That's what
because
I said.
it was a little bit deeper into camp, and Mailata had already been completely outplaying him.
But that was the end of the competition.
Yes.
At that point. And I'm not, and so I don't think one thing I don't think is that they want to go into like the middle of August with this up in the air. I think knowing Stoutland, I'm not saying Stoutland and I are tight, but like knowing Stoutland's history, I should say, I think he's going to want to figure this out sooner than later.
I think if Becton stays healthy, it's his job. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I think.
Now, we're really getting ahead of ourselves here. If Becton is the starter, is this one of those August contract extensions?
Oh, that's interesting.
Where you try to get ahead of it. And
that's interesting. I feel like Becton's history is such that you would want to play it a little bit slower to make sure that you actually saw him on the field in a regular season game. But that's a good
because that's what
arbitrage opportunity.
That's what they did with Mailata that year. It was like we're not even bringing this to the year.
Yeah,
I remember being in the Atlanta airport down for week 1.
Yes,
and they're like, "We're getting you on this deal right now."
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question.
We all silly like the mayor.